Not just the police, it's also a misunderstanding in some ways, I believe, of what the role of journalists are supposed to be among our public. Okay. If they are blaming the media for the shortcomings in the police, then maybe we should make the media in charge of what the police is supposed to do.
And you said something a little bit similar to what your tweet said, if I remember it correctly, because it's in this country that people usually run to the media if there are no authorities who can address their own problems. So something to that context.
All of our FGDs have shown that in general media has become one of the last institutions standing. And what's interesting is a demographic shift. If you look at the reactions to the hostage situation, you see CDE, people who want someone to fight for them, people who feel vulnerable or weak, they tend to turn towards media. They give a far more favorable reaction to the way media handled it. AB, more empowered. The people on Twitter, some of them. Again, I go back to, we will take responsibility for what is ours. No one is perfect. We will always do better than what we've done, and we will learn from every single situation. But we were not in control. It comes down to that.
There also happens to be a larger audience here, not the Philippine audience, not just Hong Kong audience, but the rest of the world.
All right, Congressman, you were going to say something?
Yes, I'd like to emphasize again that we certainly don't blame the media, though we feel that, again, so many agencies could have so many agencies could have handled it better. Certainly there were lapses in the police, and we're very thankful that the media was able to capture that, so that we can see now what changes we can do. As a matter of fact, 2 of our colleagues in the House filed resolutions calling for the review of the tactics and procedures used by the police in yesterday's hostage crisis. I also sent a resolution to the floor this morning together with this, calling for a complete review of the grievance systems of both the AFP and the PNP. The blame doesn't fall on one shoulder or one entity here. Certainly there are so many people.
Well, that's a matter of procedure, but the other, in our case, it is a matter of law. I mean, this is restraining the media. While you say you don't blame the media, it is the media that you are restraining by law. Well, this is not the matter. The other case, the police, would be a matter of procedures. Why couldn't all this be a simple matter of procedures? And I think we can work within those things.
The procedures and the policies that they come up with in the police and in their procedural guidelines do become law for them. And as was said earlier, when the guns are blazing, when people are stampeding, we want to make sure that there is no doubt. We want to make sure that this will not happen. We do not feel, by filing this bill, I do not feel that this is a media issue. I feel that this is a public order and safety issue, which is why when it comes to the referral on the floor, I'm asking that this be referred to the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
All right. Well, we're really running short of time, but one interesting point I think here is there are some of our print colleagues now, and I understand that they have wanted to start a Facebook petition that would somehow encourage all media practitioners, mostly broadcast of course, not to broadcast live during these situations.
Well, I have been a print man all my life, and I feel comfortable in all this. You know why? Because I need to wait until the end of the day to be able to put out my story in tomorrow's paper. So the print people don't probably have an idea of how the difficulties in which broadcast journalists are put. You are right there on the scene, and you are expected to produce something right there and then, not a print journalist.
Yeah, well, exactly, because the differences by which we deliver information somehow gives one side greater control over what comes out as a final product. So, you know, I don't know, our print colleagues, of course, with all respect to them, very hard working, of course, but somehow very different dynamics in the way we have to produce news.
Yes.
I think in general we have to keep things in perspective and not to overreact to isolated instances. All around the world, every time you turn a camera on, people act in a more civilized manner. That's the reason. Whether it's in East Timor and a camera is on, they don't shoot each other. when they know the cameras are on. There's a reason for live coverage. If Filipinos have decided that that is no longer important, it's certainly something that they fought for through the Marcos years, and certainly something, a right and a privilege that we fought for through the last 24 years, 25 years. If that's something that Filipinos want to leave, then certainly that's something that could happen in the future. But you must look back at the history. You need to look at why we are doing what we are doing. You got to shine the light. Why did we keep rolling on that? Because a week earlier, the Manila Police District faced charges of torture exposed by media. Here is this man claiming he needed help. That was not the story then. The way it could have been handled, the way it should have been handled, if it had been handled differently, would the focus have been taken away from the man with the gun inside the bus? Again, that is not within the control of media, but there is a reason why the cameras are on. What happens is not within our control.
And George, this probably might not be the last incident like this to be added to your list of coverages. Would anything change in the future because of what happened yesterday?
I just hope that the next elections, when police and military conduct its security operations, escorting ballot boxes, or other poll watchers or election officers, the politicians will need us to monitor these activities next time.
Well, did you have media trailing your ballot boxes, Congressman?
Well, again, let me clarify that we are not asking for the cameras to go off.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we want you to keep rolling. We want the media to continue to document these events so that when the smoke clears, what happened, we can see what we need to improve. And in my bill, I enumerated specifically the situations in which we would ask. This would be hostage takings, kidnappings, coup d'etat, just to make sure that we do not endanger the lives of the men and women in uniform and the civilians that may be affected in that particular area.
All right. Well, we've run out of time. Hopefully, perhaps, if another situation similar to this does come out, that everybody would have learned from this and maybe also put in the improvements that have to be seen in both police operations and media coverage, and maybe not
let's learn lesson from
maybe not with
but
a
leave
law.
the call to the journalist. That's how it is always, and that's how it should always be.
All right, Maria Ressa, George Carino, Berhel Santos, and Congressman Gabriel Quisumbing from Cebu. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us in tonight's program. I'm Tony Velasquez for Media in Focus. Thank you for joining us.